Hey everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Sitting out in the yard today, actually hoping we're getting close to a real rain. It feels like it might rain today. But anyway, that's not why you're here. The topic of this discussion is greens, getting plenty of greens in your raw vegan lifestyle diet. I hear a lot of people talk about fruit. It's always fruit, you know, there's juices, smoothies, blah, 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 but you know, people tend to not talk about the greens so much. And I find the greens are very important, you know, just as important, I think, as the fruit. Yeah, the fruit's going to give you the calories, but there's a lot of good minerals and vitamins that are in the greens. And I have some special greens I'm going to talk about today. I just got back this morning from my organic farmer's market, and I'm sitting with some beautiful kale. Beautiful kale. See, check this out. And not only kale, but I have, good gosh, I got 3 or 4 bunches of spinach. More spinach. And more kale. So I got a ton of greens. Anyway, that's the point. The kale's going to be mostly for kale chips tomorrow. I'll probably juice a little bit of it. I'm going to share a few facts here with you in just a few minutes on these leafy green vegetables, a couple in particular. But first of all, it's kind of like, you know, me. If you've watched any of my videos by now, you know I'm not Mr. Science, and I don't give the best scientific or detailed explanations. It always goes back to I experiment with it and see if it feels right. And I really listen to my body. I think some people might say that, or some people might hear that and go, well, you'll just fool yourself into thinking whatever you want to believe about your diet. But no, I try to really listen as I'm adding things in, and I just got to believe that instinctively, if we're doing something very wrong, our body's going to tell us. Even if not immediately, it's going to tell us eventually. So, you know, that's kind of my method. I just believe it's a great balance. You know, I really like this whole thing. Pretty much, I mentioned it on a video not too long ago, and somebody else mentioned it, and then not until they mentioned it, I realized that I really do. I'm fruit till 5. You know, there's the whole raw till 4 or 5, but I'm fruit till 5. Very seldom do I get that craving and I indulge in having something else during the day. And if I do, I do it. I just don't get that craving very much, and a lot of times I don't have the time, so fruit's just the most handy thing to have during the day. But I couldn't imagine doing only fruit. I really look forward to that, like especially after a long day and having all, you know, a lot of sugar, a lot of fruit all day. I just love coming home in the evening and balancing that out with a big salad, green soup, but anything with some good greens in it, you know, and the darker green the better. I eat a lot of spinach. I put spinach in my salads, I put spinach in my smoothies, I put spinach in those green soups. I'm trying to use kale more. Like last week, and maybe the next time I make a salad, I made a salad of just kale, a good big old portion of kale. Now I massaged it a little bit to, you know, to make it a little bit more palatable, not palatable, but digestible. Now with kale, and I'm going to get into this in just a minute, I don't have a problem with kale. Some people have a problem digesting kale, and for those people, you might actually need to take special care, ease into eating kale, use it in smoothies as opposed to just eating it. You know, maybe you want to massage it a little bit with some lemon juice and some Himalayan sea salt. Just all ideas. Let's go over some of the specifics of the leafy greens and why the leafy greens. And I've got like a multitude of different sources here. God, I probably should have taken down notes so I could have almost like footnotes here, but I just read so many different sites. You know, I'm just always like Googling different terms and seeing what different people have to say on the subject. One of the best things I got, just to start it off with, green leafy vegetables are a mineral-rich food and are especially building for muscle and tissue strength. They also contain high levels of chlorophyll, which helps to detoxify the body, especially the liver. And they're also very alkaline forming. Leafy green vegetables have more nutrition per calorie than any other food. Greens make up a significant source of vitamins for A, C, E, K, as well as several B vitamins. They are rich sources of minerals such as calcium, magnesium, iron, and potassium. Those minerals are what it is. We get the vitamins in a lot of the fruits also, but it's those minerals that are really abundant in these green leafy vegetables. They're rich in fiber, extremely low in fat and carbohydrates, and provide an excellent source of protein. Where do you get your protein? Everybody gets asked that. Yes, the leafy greens are a good source of protein. And the fiber is particularly good for sweeping out your digestive tracts. Let's see, I'm going to go through some of these things that I see important. Like I said, I'm going to add these to my notes. I'm always building a library on different subjects of notes, so I have just like tons of Word documents saved that have different things I've researched. So I don't need to repeat myself on all of this, but I'll repeat some of the things that I thought were very relevant here. Dark green leafy vegetables act as antioxidants in the body. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. I'm not illiterate. Sometimes my voice engages before my brain. The substances in dark green leafy vegetables remove free radicals from the body before they become harmful. Some research has found the carotenoids in dark green leafy vegetables can stop the growth of certain types of breast, skin, lungs, and stomach cancer. Some evidence suggests that foods containing folate decrease the risk of pancreatic cancer. Foods containing dietary fiber reduce the risk of developing colorectal cancer. Now, as you're noticing here, before anybody gets freaked out by anything, we're not saying this cures anything. We're just saying this is good prevention. It's pretty much just a little bit of an extension on an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You know, these kind of things are going to help you prevent having to deal with these things down the road, these cancers. Kale specifically, I mean, you know, sometimes as I was Googling and reading these articles, like sometimes kale is kind of like the new fad thing, but so sometimes, you know, people are like hesitant about like something that becomes a new trend, a new fad, but kale's the real stuff. Basically, research has shown that kale contains 45 different flavonoids with a variety of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. It's part of the brassica family, which basically includes cruciferous vegetables along with broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. Kale is high in iron. In fact, per calorie, kale has more iron than beef. The iron is essential for good health, such as the formation of hemoglobin and enzymes, transporting oxygen to various parts of the body, cell growth, proper liver function, and more. Kale is high in vitamin K, and eating a diet high in vitamin K can help protect against various cancers. And it's also necessary for a wide variety of bodily functions, including bone health and the prevention of blood clotting. Also, increased levels of vitamin K can help people suffering from Alzheimer's disease. This is all, I wouldn't say it can help, I'm saying they found studies that lead them to believe it might help. Kale is high in calcium. 1 per calorie, kale has more calcium than milk, which aids in preventing bone loss, preventing osteoporosis, and maintaining a healthy metabolism. One thing I'm going to look into there, though, and that's a further thing down the line, is to understand more about calcium. Sometimes to absorb the calcium in kale, I've heard that there's a problem absorbing it. So I need to read more on that and find out more about that. Kale is a great detox food. It's filled with fiber and sulfur, which we've already mixed, which are both great for detoxifying your body and keeping your liver healthy. Now, some of the things you may want to look over is, okay, there's a couple of controversial things about kale, or things that people can have a problem with. A large concentration of vitamin K can be a problem for people taking blood thinners. My mother takes that. I think it's warfarin she takes. So people on blood thinners need to think about these dark leafy greens and other medications because it promotes clotting. The green also contains oxalates, which in lab tests have been associated with kidney stones and some gallstones. Now that I'm not so sure about. Raw kale for some people, as I mentioned earlier, can be hard on the digestive system, which can cause bloating, gas, and other abdominal issues, and also contains a compound that can suppress thyroid function in certain people. So that might be something if you have any. I'm just trying to cover all bases here. Most healthy people, I can eat kale, like I can eat as much as I want of it. But if you have certain conditions, you might want to look into the kale or any of these dark leafy green vegetables, and that includes, if I don't know exactly what that is. I'm not a doctor, so I would say if you have any thyroid problems and you have any question about that, yeah, definitely check it out. And if you're taking any blood thinners. Seeing a thing down here, cancer studies seem to show that raw kale is more beneficial than cooked, while cholesterol studies seem to show that steamed kale is more beneficial than raw. You know, that's just one of those things. Now, this is an interesting study here that I did want to share with you. Researchers at Walter and Eliza Institute's Molecular Immunology Division have discovered that a gene called TBET, that's T-BET, which is essential for producing critical immune cells in your gut, responds to the food you eat, specifically leafy green vegetables. According to the press release, the immune cells named innate lymphoid cells are found in the lining of the digestive system and protect the body from bad bacteria in the intestine. They are also believed to play an important role in controlling food allergies, inflammatory diseases, and obesity, and may even prevent the development of bowel cancers. So, as we're seeing, these leafy greens, you know, I kind of focused on kale today, but these leafy greens, including everything, including all of the lettuce family, the arugula, probably anything other than iceberg lettuce, all of these leafy greens have a lot of that, the dark greens especially, have a lot of these same properties. I know without going through all over it again, spinach has a lot of the same benefits, the iron, that the minerals that kale has. So at the end of the day, balance. I think that's just the perfect system. Perfect system, man, is fruits all day, and then greens in the evening. Some of you are, you know, still doing starches. Some of you are still doing cooked food. So maybe, you know, I saw a great video. Who did it yesterday? Happy Healthy Vegan on food combining. Since I don't eat cooked food, and even when I do eat cooked food every once in a while, I don't mix it. I just eat the cooked food that I'm going to eat on those rare occasions. I don't mix it. So I'm not real sure about the food combining. If you're still eating, you know, cooked food at night, or if you're eating some potatoes or some other cooked starches, I'll try to do maybe a food combining video in the future too about how you would combine this. Like, would you, you know, maybe would you get your greens in first? Because they're going, yeah, I'm thinking maybe you'd get your greens in first, and then maybe give that a little bit of time to digest, and then get your, say, potatoes or rice or whatever in. Or, you know, depending on your constitution and how well your digestion is, you know, you would just eat your starches and have some of the greens on the side to go down with it. But yes, either way, I definitely recommend that, you know, if you're eating high on the fruits during the day, you really need to get those greens in also. Can't stress that enough. It's not all about the fruits, even though I do love that sugar, I do love those carbohydrates. We've got to get our greens in. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel, and hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.